Namaste, my name is Nina Dimitriou and I welcome you to the Sattology channel. Today we have the writer, inventor of the term Sattology, Hindu-American entrepreneur, Mr. Aditya Satsangi with us. How are you today, Aditya ji?
I'm very good. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much for coming to the channel, and we are so happy you're here because we have some burning questions. And the questions are about the term Islamophobia. Now, we would like to understand what is the history of the term Islamophobia and what exactly is Islamophobia according to you?
So, thank you for this wonderful question, and मैं हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों में जवाब देता हूँ. Islamophobia is Islam is a name of the faith, and phobia मतलब होता है डर. Phobia is fear. So Islamophobia means nothing but fear of Islam, and it was mostly made use in the Runnymede Foundation around 1980s or 70s. It was made more popular by Runnymede Foundation in the UK, which was probing incidents of hate crimes against Muslims in UK. So that's where this term came about. But मेरा इसमें थोड़ा सा अलग ही टेक है. Islamophobia मतलब fear of Islam. मैं इसको बोलता हूँ genuine fear of Islam, because इधर इतने सारे terrorist incidents हो रहे हैं पूरे विश्व में. There's so many terrorist incidents happening due to Islam. So this is a genuine fear of non-Muslims. And another thing which I don't like about the term kafir, the word kafir is in all Islamic texts. It's the most derogatory, racist term to describe non-Muslims. Like, I'll give you one example. The entire Pakistan, 200 million people, and most of the Middle Eastern schools in their mosques, they teach that Hindus are dark, ugly-looking people, not intelligent, they are dirty. Like, this is what they teach about Hindus. हिंदुओं के बारे में इतना खराब बात करते हैं कि गंदे हैं, काले हैं, बुद्धू हैं, नालायक हैं, and thieves, चोर बुलाते हैं. So this is what is taught to them from birth. Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, for everyone, and this is kafir. And so if they really want to remove fear of Islam or Islamophobia, so Muslim organizations have to remove Islamophobia, not whiten or silence other people that Islamophobic. They call Islamophobic. कभी-कभी मुझको भी बुलाते हैं bigoted, बोलते हैं racist. They call me racist sometimes, and so I feel that they have to work on their community to remove Islamophobia. They have to completely, the only way they can remove it is by being good outreach.
Yes.
First thing they should do is remove kafir word in their scriptures, and the second thing is then they should reach out to the community and publicly denounce all incidents of terrorism because of that faith. Nowadays, 90% terrorism incidents happen, and they call Allahu Akbar. Now, most of the people, I don't know, I never met Arabic person before, and so when I meet Arabic people, the only thing I remember that he shouts Allahu Akbar, and I don't know whether he's secure or not. So, so it's become a joke now. It's like there was in Oxford Street in UK, when somebody was doing an experiment, and that guy shouted Allahu Akbar loudly, and the whole smoke empty. And this is a live experiment they did. So how this is what it is. So it's not a racist term.
No.
People are asking that, hey, we're fearful of you. Now please help us remove the fear. Any commonsensical man, if he's scary to other people, will say, okay, sorry. What can I do to improve myself? These guys won't do that. Instead of that, they're saying you are racist, you're bigoted. This is not going to help them. It's going to become worse, and then people are going to take law in their own hands.
Yes, as you said it so correctly that we are so scared, we are so frightened. I mean, if you go, especially in vacations places, you can't go to nice places like Egypt or some Syria because you're afraid of what terror might happen where. Yeah. And unfortunately, very regretfully, it's always one particular religion that Islam comes out. No matter how politely we try to put it, but it's the fact. And the thing is, they are not doing much. They are, in fact, I should say, they are hardly doing anything to come out and change their perspective. As you said, they are teaching in their schools to their children that everybody else is a kafir. इंडिया बेवकूफ हैं, बुद्धू हैं, नालायक है, जैसे आपने कहा। तो आपको क्या लगता है किस तरह ये पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज कर सकते हैं कि सिर्फ काफिर वर्ड को हटा दें या कुछ और अपने बच्चों को क्या सिखाएं ताकि सही में वो इंक्लूड करे सबको? बात क्या है, we are not, nobody else is racist. They are very respectful. They are afraid to offend some Islamic people.
Correct. उन्होंने ऐसा हवा बना दिया है कि अभी कोई मुसलमान बात करेगा तो उससे हम बात करते हुए डर लगता है कि किस चीज पे ऑफेंड हो जाएगा, बिकॉज़ दे आर द कुछ भी टेक ऑफेंस ऑन एनीथिंग. एंड देन दे इन इंडिया रिसेंटली जस्ट यस्टरडे दे ब्रोक बंच ऑफ बसेस. एंड थोड़े दिनों पहले अभी जस्ट अ वीडियो केम आउट इन फिलाडेल्फिया, मुस्लिम एसोसिएशन ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका. वो लोग अपने बच्चों को सिखा रहे हैं कैसे ज्यू को मारना चाहिए. दे टीचिंग देयर चिल्ड्रन हाउ टू किल ज्यूज. And that's what they're teaching in Philadelphia, which was last month. Now, this was one incident came out. Now, what are they doing in all the other mosques? Nobody knows.
Yes. What do you think they should really do? I still believe, and I want to believe, that there are a lot of good people in that religion too. How can we appeal to them, Satsangi ji? What do you think they should do, and a pathway, if you could design sincerely for them?
So there are many good Muslims, like you said, and I have nothing against Muslims. I am against their terror ideology and also their scriptures, because their scriptures they encourage that. They may say they are the most peaceful religion, but I think they are more PIECE, peaceful religion, because you don't know when they are going to explode. So the point, I feel that they have to first apologize for their history. Number one, right? Right, coming from Hajra of Muhammad from Makkah to Medina, because what has happened is Syria was a Sanskrit-speaking country. Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, these are all the Hindu territories. They have converted all of them by force, by attacking women and children, and we can see, and they were defeated in India. That's where the Islam defeated, but because the India has a large dharmic population. But they again were managed to convert Bangladesh, and they went to Indonesia and Malaysia. They had to first apologize of all their past history of violent acts, number one. Number two, they have to seriously introspect what is in their books which encourage men to become terrorists, religious terrorists. I'm not talking about terrorists. There are terrorists from crazy criminals. I call them criminals. There are people who kill for stupid reasons. But this is different. This is like they are saying that these guys are trying to spread their religion through violence. So this religious terrorism. So Islamophobia is the fear of non-Muslims due to the Islam-induced religious intolerance of kafirs. So this is how we need to define Islamophobia. Is that it's a religion-induced religious hatred of non-Muslims. And very simple solution. Solution is first they apologize, acknowledge, and they root out all the bad Muslims in their community. They should be the first ones to blame them. And if you look at the Islamic history, not a single Islamic country is self-reliant. They cannot rule themselves. And so what they are doing is they're going to other countries, they're going to democracies, producing children, changing the demographics, controlling the power. So this is the way, and people can read through it. I am speaking it. There are more intelligent people than me, so people can see through it. So and also because of them, because of these terrorist-induced individuals, Islam has the largest population, which is ex-Muslim now. 25% of all Muslims in North America are ex-Muslims, because they cannot connect themselves to that violent ideology, because they know when they go to a mosque what they get preached. Any mosque can take.
Yes.
And right from the children they are taught, small children. So that brainwashing they have done. And I have, if you look at the Islam today, it's a perfect example of a cult. Cult means one way in, no way out. So their apostasy laws prohibit anyone to claim publicly that they are not a Muslim. Otherwise, it becomes a social pariah. So we have to, हम लोग को ये If they do not correct themselves, then the world will correct themselves. Normally, you will hear them, oh, we are the fastest growing religion. That's a wrong news. They are not fastest growing religion. We have seen in Nigeria how much violence they have done against Christians in Nigeria. How much violence and senseless violence, and mainly directed towards women and children. So they are fastest children producing religion, not growing religion. So the fastest growing religion is Dharma, because more and more people are willingly coming to Dharma. And Dharma is just not a small population. We are talking about Dharma as 5 billion people on the planet. And so out of it, if you add India, China, straight away, Southeast Asian countries, 2.8 billion people straight away Dharma. And plus remaining people leaving Christianity, leaving Islam, they're all coming to Dharma. So fastest, if they say fastest growing religion, they should change it. This is the fastest producing religion. But the growing religion is Dharma.
बहुत अच्छी आपने I also like your sense of humor, but it is true, regretfully, but it is true. आपने जैसे कहा. And now, when you use the term ex-Muslim, now what do you mean ex-Muslim? So, because as you said, there is a way in and no way out. So what happened to them? Where are they joining? Are they following any religion, or they turn into atheists because they have been so much burnt?
No, you're right. उनका इतना ज़्यादा शोषण हुआ है. They have burnt so much. Like if you look at Iran, people from Iraq, and they have been burnt so much, they don't want to follow any religion. They according to them, all religions produce violence, and they're agnostic, and they don't want to follow anything. And I don't blame them.
Exactly.
I don't blame them. I am with them, because I feel that they have a right to reject anything they don't like.
Yeah. And they have been burned so much, as you said, that they are not even having that compassion or the hope to try other religion. They said, we just want to be a good people, sane people. That's it.
That's it.
Not to mess with religion again. Very good. You were also talking about the Dharma, dharmic. Now, what do you think is the dharmic position on the Islamophobic people?
So Islamophobia. So Dharma means any reasonable and logical thought. So anybody can be dharmic. You may not be a Hindu or a Buddhist, but you can be dharmic, because Dharma follows a natural logical path. So the Dharma's position on Islamophobia is that it's an first of all, Islamophobia we reject completely, because they are themselves. So Dharma relies on karma. Karma means actions. So if their actions are not in line with what they want to be, that means they are not dharmic.
No.
So we reject Islamophobia completely, because it is the responsibility of Muslims to remove the fear of non-Muslims.
So you said very well, it is the responsibility of the Muslims to remove their fear. It's so true. Now, what happened? What is the impact of the dharmic people, such as like Hindus, Buddhists, because Jains, and also dharmic Muslim people, and many others who believes in Dharma? What happens to them?
So they are well protected by Dharma, number one, but they're well protected by Dharma, but the impact of Dharma. So Dharma is independent of faith. That is one thing we need to remember, is Dharma is independent of faith. Dharma is also monotheistic in many ways, but it's still not a theistic philosophy. It's not an atheistic philosophy. It's a theistic philosophy. So Dharma stands for logic, reasoning, and commonly acceptable principles that can be applied to any society. So any society which is close to the nature, any society which is close to just being natural selves, they're all considered dharmic.
Now,
it's a growing creed.
Now, what happens if the Muslims and Islamophobic, or the I don't want to use the word terrorist, or the people that have been wrongly inspired to think of everybody else as kafir, and they come and start doing harm to those dharmic people? How should these dharmic people who have common sense, who are peaceful, how should they act or react to them?
Then they have to react in the same language as they attack.
Okay.
So dharmic people have to react in the same language. and they're doing it. Israel is doing it, India is doing it, US does it, Japan does it. So these are all dharmic people. They're responding. They're not attacking Islam. They're responding, and the usually the response of the dharma is very strong. And these not a single Islamic terrorist has ever lived very long in Kashmir or Israel, because the way of dharma is, it's much more powerful than Islam. So when they attack, and when the dharmic people unite, the response is many times over they can never imagine. And then they run to secular courts, human rights. You know,
Very true.
so I say that if you're a man, then fight. Look at what we have done to ISIS now. The collective will of the nations, we've decimated ISIS completely. And if they continue to take that path, they will be met with a similar or much greater resistance. But we don't threaten them. We are saying we are responding. So we think 20 times and then we respond. And like, for example, Pakistan is a university of Islamic terror. So that state, we respond them regularly, and this is the time, India will take them head on, because they have no idea. The history is the biggest teacher, and history is a witness that whenever dharma has been attacked, it has responded with a force. The response is slower, it gets frustrated. Hindus are the biggest victims in the Hindu majority country, India, where the Muslims, even though they are minority, they have more rights than Hindus. But when the law responds, when the dharma responds, then they have no other escape. So why to wait till that time? My question is, why you want to take up violence when you know you will be defeated? Better is to correct your mistakes, apologize for all the history of Islam, apologize that calling everyone as kafir is not good, and then take a very humble path, and that will ensure growth of uh, a peace amongst all the communities. No dharmic person hates anybody, because hatred is not there in dharmic community. It is the Muslims who hate the kafirs. That is the problem.
You wonderfully pointed out so nicely that any dharmic person, whether he's Muslim or a non-Muslim, can never take the path of hatred, because hatred and violence has never been an answer. I really hope that I know a lot of Muslim friends who are so peaceful, who are so educated and so selfless and helpful. And I truly hope that everybody will come out and, as you said, rectify their mistake, not hold any hatred in their heart. It's a different thing that if you try to show outside what you're not, but inside it's completely different, then it is there. You're breeding in your future generation. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. आपने बहुत अच्छी तरह हम सबको enlighten किया, especially Islamophobia. हम लोग सब नहीं जानते थे, किसी को I particularly did not know what it meant. I had the fear, but very nicely you put it into perspective. Thank you for coming, Aditya ji. And next week we'll see you again.
Yes, namaskar.
Namaste.